Like I'm live. Hooray. Hey everybody, it's me, Michelle Lewis, the Blessings Butterfly, and if you are able to join me here today live in our Transformational Positivity group, welcome. Hello, I'm so happy you're here. If you are catching this video on the replay, thank you also for joining, and you're welcome to put your comments, questions, etc., thoughts, all the goodness, love hearts. Pop those in the comments. I love them and I do read all of them. So give just a couple moments for folks to find out that I'm here live so you can join me. And I will start out by saying I had planned to be able to do a really cool screen share situation with you, have some beautiful slides and a neat little presentation that I wanted to share. And then I found out that I had to do all these other extra extensions for Google Chrome in order for it to share the screen. So just some tech stuff that I wasn't thinking that I was going to need. So I apologize. I won't be able to share my screen with you this time, but I will have it all put together and set up for you for next week. So this is actually a series that I'm going to be sharing with y'all, and I'm excited to present to you and just have questions and answers and all of that good stuff. So, all right, so it looks like we've got some folks joining me. Hi, BB. Yay. So if you're here, if you can hear me, could you just do me a favor and send a little thumbs up or write, yes, I hear you. Just because with these cool earbuds, like I can't tell if my voice is actually coming through or not. So you would be helping me out a great deal if you just let me know that you can, yes, in fact, hear me. Another thing that I want to be able to do moving forward is to be able to include captions for all of my videos, because I know that sometimes when people are able to check in or look at these, they might be at work or they might be in a situation where they can't have the volume up, but it's really important information and I want everybody to be able to have access to that. All right, cool. So let me go ahead and get started. Hey, I'm not going to take a ton of your time because it is valuable and I do want to share this good information with you and start a conversation. But I also know you've got other things to do too. So I want to be mindful of that and keep this nice and tight. All right, and then here's another interesting thing. It's interesting to me. So my iPhone is actually 4 minutes faster than my desktop. So even though the clocks are supposed to like all be on the same kind of time, science or whatever, they're not. So either my iPhone can see into the future by 4 minutes, which would be really cool, or it's just some tech thing that, again, I need to look into. All right, so let's get on with it. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about whole self-love and how that relates to transformational positivity. Transformational positivity, as I've mentioned and as we know, is all about the strengthening and the supporting of our most important human relationships. And those are, you know, our relationships, our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with others, our relationship with our environment, and our relationship with essence, life, spirit, whatever you want to call it, God. So each of those 4 key relationships, those 4 key connections, have a supporting pillar, and that's what I wanted to talk about today, which is the first pillar, which is whole self-love. So whole self-love is really about strengthening your relationship with yourself. It's about understanding and caring for the body that you live in. It's about honoring your specific lived experiences. It's about expressing your perspective. It's about expressing your personality and your passions and figuring out what those are and diving into those. It's about knowing like your sparkly side and your shadow side and being able to like just be able to love your whole self. So I'm going to start with a couple of acknowledgements. The first one being that this can be a very triggering topic. So first and foremost, if anything that I'm saying or any of the things that are coming up create a trigger for you and make you feel anxious, make you feel angry, make you feel some kind of way, take care of yourself first. If you need to hit pause, if you need to take a time out, if you need to not even like listen to this right now, that's okay too. Come back to it at a time when you feel like safe and secure and that you can explore some of these topics and ideas. Okay. The second thing that I really want to acknowledge, particularly when it comes to whole self-love, is I want to acknowledge that I come from the dominant culture, and I want to acknowledge the privilege that comes with that. Being born in a white body, being born in a socially acceptable body type, like those are things that are very easy to take for granted. And I want to acknowledge those and stand here saying, yes, I recognize that that is a little bit different than other people's experience. It's not better or worse, it's simply different. But I want to acknowledge it and pretend and not pretend like it isn't a factor, because it is. I also would like to acknowledge that I did grow up in a fairly supportive family structure. Not perfect, let's not get crazy, but my childhood upbringing, I had two parents that, for the most part, by and large, supported me in being able to express myself and be creative and those sort of things. I also want to acknowledge that I know not everybody grew up in that same situation, and for many of us, our whole struggle with whole self-love began in childhood by not feeling that support, by not feeling that love, and not feeling that worthiness from the people that we needed to the most. So I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that as well. And then the fourth thing that I really wanted to acknowledge is that I do come from an able-bodied background, and so that is going to be a different experience than someone else may be expressing. So let me just go ahead and get those acknowledgements out of the way. And if there's something else that I'm blind to, that I'm missing, please feel free to point that out to me, because I'm here to learn as well. All right, so acknowledgements out of the way, like knowing that you come to your life, you come to this body to experience your humanity. You know, it's to experience life through the vessel of your body. And all of our bodies look different. All of our bodies are fantastic and wonderful exactly as they are. Like that's something that I want to have us assume, come from the place of assumption that we are more than just the body that we live in, that there's a whole lot going on in addition to our incredible packaging. But what often happens is that we get really tripped up on the packaging and we don't spend enough time working all of our pieces together. And where this tends to go south, like first and foremost, is media. Like growing up with commercials and magazines and ideals of what a body was supposed to look like, what a female body was supposed to look like. Like, that's such a mind screw. Like, can we just say that right now? Like, that messes people up. And that gets us tripped up in a way that we start taking in these lies, these ideas, these pieces of an agenda designed to control and quiet and keep women silent, submissive, all these things. Doubting ourselves, doubting our bodies, doubting our worth, doubting all the things that make us amazing and wonderful and unique. So you're probably someone who has also grown up feeling like you weren't enough just because you didn't look like, you know, X, Y, or Z, or you were told that you were supposed to be this way. So another place where I personally experienced like body shaming and things like that were in the church and in school. Maybe you've had similar experience. So another area where some of this body shaming and some of this not being told that you're enough, that you're okay as you are, can come from others. Maybe growing up in the playground with other kids that didn't have like a supportive experience at home. And so they're just repeating what they've heard. Maybe you were told that your body was too big or too small or too this or too that, any number of things. There's a lot of ways that we are put down and told that we're just not enough. But where I come in with whole self-love and using this as our very first pillar for transformational positivity is giving ourselves the opportunity to really say, you know what, there is more to me. And maybe these things that I've been told about myself are not true. So like what changed, right? What changed where I was able to like get past the body shaming, get past the places where I was feeling that I wasn't enough, that I didn't measure up, that I was somehow not worthy of love, and get past all like that kind of huge hurdle, those lies, that nonsense, those landmines. It started with questioning the external messaging that I was receiving. It started with saying like, who's telling me that I'm not good enough? It doesn't seem to add up. Like, what do they benefit by me feeling bad about myself? I'm going to give them money to make me look a certain way. I'm going to give them my power by believing that I'm not enough as I am, and on and on and on. And you can see where that sort of stuff would sort of pile up, right? Yeah, like that's a big one. That's a big place to start, like being able to push back against some of the external messaging that you may have received, that you may be currently facing, and find yourself asking the question, who benefits from me feeling bad about myself? It's not you, that's for sure. So how do you take some of that power back? Push back against the questions and external messaging. Another area where I began like to see a shift, which is maybe kind of hand in hand with pushing back against the external messaging, was learning to pay attention to my own internal dialogue. How was I talking about myself? How was I talking to myself? Catching myself, tearing myself down, criticizing, belittling, hating, loathing, all these like awful ways to tear apart my body, my abilities, my creativity, my thoughts, anything, like wherever. Do you do these same things? Do you have a place where you can hit pause and say, did I really mean that about myself? Like, can you catch yourself talking in a way that is like negative, destructive, hurtful, hateful? That's a great place to push pause and say, who benefits from me feeling bad about myself? Not me. Let's turn that around, hey? And then the third thing that I did to really kind of create a shift was finding supportive, like-minded communities that were healing, that were creating places of healing and safety and exploration. If it's starting with body positive communities, and looking at body types and being able to see different body types, shapes, colors, abilities, all of these things that were different from me, that I had in my mind created a story that were that different didn't equal good or different didn't equal okay. Being able to put myself and expose myself in ways that said, oh my goodness, like let's look at everybody that's different, and let's look at how all these beautiful bodies and humans and these beautiful beings are perfect and wonderful as they are. It was all kind of combined, and this may be a little scattered, it may be a little heavy, it may be a little deep, it may make no sense. So just let me know. But being able to put myself into places where I was receiving support and being able to learn other people's experiences and see the value in that was huge. It was huge, and it allowed me to be able to stop like judging myself in a way that was not helpful, was self-destructive, and was just in no way, shape, or form loving. So, like, there is a lot more to this to unpack, and I'm not going to be able to do all of it today, but I really wanted to just get us thinking. Like, let's start this conversation. All right, what else have I got here that I can share? All right, so one thing I did want to point out is that for those of us who were once feeling very broken and coming from a place of pain and not being able to love the body that we live in, this is a daily journey of transformation. It's a daily journey of choices to be more positive. It doesn't mean that any of our experiences, any of our fears and thoughts, any of these like armor pieces that we've put on, that those aren't valid and that those, haven't had a place that served us. But maybe we're ready to start putting those pieces down. And maybe we're ready to start discovering who we are as whole, complete, beautiful, magnificent beings. This is a job of remembering, taking the pieces of ourselves that we've scattered, that we've ignored, that we've belittled, that we've deemed unworthy, and remembering, putting ourselves back together and finding ways to love ourselves whole. All right, I've been on here for a little over 15 minutes. If anybody has questions right now that I can work with, let's go ahead and see those in the comments. Or if you are watching on the replay, go ahead and put those in and I will definitely come back and work with those. Yeah, I really want to thank you guys for your time and for your presence and for your willingness to be here and have these conversations. I'm going to be doing a live every week this month. I want to be talking more and more about whole self-love and sharing ways that we can really begin to kind of unpack that and look at the amazing beings that we truly are. Love the bodies that we live in. Practice self-care in ways that are supportive and beautiful, and find ways to have conversations with and about ourselves that are positive and uplifting and supportive. All right, I don't see any questions right now, so thank you for joining me. If you're catching this on the replay, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all so much, and I am excited to be on this journey with you. Let's take that power back, babes. Let's not give it away anymore. Let's figure out why the hell we're here and how we can love ourselves wholly and completely. Bye for now.